Welcome to the Food Bloggers Table. Pull up a chair for authentic conversations and actionable advice from fellow food bloggers and industry experts. I'm your host, Jen, and I create custom food blogs designed to earn top-tier ad income. Join us now at the table as we break bread and build brands. As a food blogger and a stay-at-home mom and a wife and all the things, how do you do it? That's the age-old question. So I'd love to know how you do it.
Well, before my first daughter, Gianna, was born, April 2021, that's when my blog was starting to hit on its feet and I was actually making money from it. But I knew, okay, she's going to be born in April and she was my first. So I didn't know what I would be doing as a mom. I worked way out in advance. I pre-scheduled. I think I got 3 to 5 months out. So January 2021, I already was working on April 2021. February, I was working on May. So I wanted to have enough leeway and give myself some grace to not have to worry about having to write a blog post, take pictures, because I didn't know what that was going to look like before she was born. Or after she was born. So working ahead is how I work well. And I still do that. I don't like to be stressed out. I like to make sure I'm going to be okay. Right now, I don't want to have to work day to day, week to week. Right. Like for Christmas, I like to take I don't want to say I like to take the whole month of December off, but I like to have a lot of time where, hey, I don't have to go home and work on my blog today or take these photos or write this recipe or do this, and this. I kind of just take December and I do all of it in October because I want to spend time with my kids. But to answer your question, nap time is like my go time, my work time. It has always been. In the beginning, when I was a first time mom, it was hard to do because I was trying to figure things out. But especially now, being a mom of 2, I figured out our schedule. They usually have like a sync nap. So that's really the time that I get to do all my work. And I have it very planned. Like I put my phone aside. I have a list of things that I need to do. I'm very serious about it and I get it done because that's the only time. And I try to wake up at least 2 hours before they do in the mornings because that's also another time of the day that I have. So I'm early riser, and working during their nap time is like my golden hours of work. And that's when I get everything done. Present because I'm the mom that I want to do everything with them. They're only little ones. So we decided not to get a nanny or send them to daycare because I want to be home with them. And it's so nice to be able to go on walks whenever, go to the aquarium or the zoo. And I love doing that. Something that I've always wanted to do is be a mom. And I feel lucky that I get to be home with them every day. And they help me. So I can make a batch of cookies while we do breakfast time when they're both in their high chairs, and they'll watch me. Sometimes I'll bring the bowl to their high chair and they'll stir, or my daughter likes to get on the counter, my oldest daughter. Yeah. And she'll help me, pour in the chocolate chips or mix in the flour. She loves doing that. And a lot of the times I'll include them in my reels because I think it's cute. And I think people could relate to that. And it's easy. It's easy enough to help do. So I bake the cookies in the morning, and then while they're napping, I could photograph them during my work time. So I kind of just divided the workload.
You said that you get up before them and then you work during their nap time, but that allows you to be present with them when you can be present with them. But if you're not a morning person, for goodness sakes, don't get up early and try to do work that is not going to be in your zone of genius time. If you're a night owl and can do it when the kids go to bed, absolutely, that's what you should do. You need to prioritize.
Works for you.
Yes.
I personally don't like working at night because then it does take away from my family and my husband. That's the only time we get to spend together during the day. And I like to check out because I don't want to be working all day because you're just constantly I check emails, respond to comments, check my Instagram because my Instagram is a big part of my traffic too. And there comes a time where I'm like, okay, I'm going to put my phone down, or at least I try, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in the Instagram world. And then that's a huge traffic drive for me.
What you have to do is look at what's driving the most traffic and knowing that that's going to increase your ad revenue because you are a full-time mom with a limited amount of time. You already know exactly what you're going to do when you get to nap time or you wake up in the morning. You have a plan already. It's not like you're going to sit there for the first hour and try to figure out what you're going to do.
Correct. I think a lot of my success is from strategic planning. And I learned this prior to having my first Gianna. I have a list of things that I constantly need to do. If it's photo editing, recipe development, keyword research, which I spend a whole lot of time. I'm thinking I spend too much time, but I mean, I'm not going to just wake up and say, I'm going to make apple pie today, because realistically, I'm not going to rank in Google for apple pie. Apple pie with caramel and chocolate, maybe, but a lot of the times that's I really want to make this recipe. And I will make things like Oatmeal breakfast cookies. I know those are super hard to rank for, but I really wanted to have a breakfast cookie in my blog, so I'm going to have a breakfast cookie. I know my following is going to appreciate a breakfast cookie because a lot of people do come to my site because I have healthier recipes. Not all of them are healthy, but I try to, strive for the healthy recipes, but I also love my desserts.
And you know what? That's okay. It's all about moderation, right?
Have variations. I try to include as many variations on my blog for how to make it healthier, but it's about the flavor. And I love easy recipes. So 99.9% of my recipes, I would say, are easy to make for families because I want anyone who isn't savvy in the kitchen to be able to make cookies in less than an hour, during
Exactly.
breakfast. That shouldn't be hard to do. And I want to make it as easy as possible.
That's fantastic. So you have found really good success in figuring out times that aren't going to take away from your kids or your husband, determining what those times are going to be, and then having a plan. So now when you make a plan, do you make a plan for the next day or do you just kind of have a running?
It's like a running list, and then I have like a current to-do list, like a
Okay.
weekly to-do list or a daily to-do list, depending on what projects I'm working on.
You mentioned working with some VAs to help you with specific tasks that maybe are things that you enjoy doing, but maybe the things that take a whole lot longer and that you don't necessarily feel like you have to have your hand in quite as much. Because I know you had mentioned that you really prefer to be the recipe developer. So you will hand off specific tasks like the photography or some of the other aspects of your business that either aren't your favorites or that are just so time consuming that it
Yeah.
takes away from other areas. Can you tell how you determined those things?
I love taking my own photos, but that is one of the biggest things that kind of takes the most time.
Mhm.
Especially and the recipe. So I don't like taking photos of savory foods like dinners.
Mhm.
So I have my VAs kind of take over the savory recipes
Mhm.
and recipes that I like cake pops. I cannot, I just can't take pictures of cake pops. They're too challenging to do. I mean, they're easy to make, but to make pretty, to take really gorgeous photos, I have no interest in doing that. If I had to, I would, but luckily I have a VA that can do that. I know those aren't the ones I want to spend time on, and I
Mhm.
know I don't have the time to make the savory dishes. I have the time to make the baked goods because I could bake it during breakfast and photograph it in the afternoon. If I were to do savory, I'd have to do kind of everything at the same time, and that kind of
Yes.
limits my photo time.
I think that's so smart. We think because someone is the face of their brand that they are the only person working on said brand. But so many times that person that is the face, yes, they started it, but they have since hired out for a ton of areas in their business. And so I think it bears mentioning that this isn't always a solopreneur journey.
That was really hard for me at first because I did test out some other photography VAs and I didn't love their work. And I just think having gorgeous photos is important for my site.
Yeah.
I have two really good VAs right now and they take gorgeous photos. And I don't even know if anyone can notice that it's not my work, but I try to make it and I let them know, hey, this is what I want more of, less of, just so it could all look the same. I don't want it to ever seem like, oh my gosh, what happened to
Yes.
photos? Like that doesn't look like her style. I always want it
Yes.
to be authentic.
Yes. And I appreciate that you said it took a couple of tries to find somebody that was a good fit for you. And that's not a bad thing. There's tons of people out there that are doing great work. And it doesn't mean you're always going to get it right on the first try. Sometimes you just have to be diligent about just keep on keeping on because you're going to find people that are a good fit for your business, whether somebody has, tons of hours or an hour a week to do something. Getting really strategic about when you're working, but also knowing exactly what it is that you're going to work on and kind of have a master list that you can pull from. So maybe you have a 15-minute something that you weren't expecting. You can go right to that list. And it's not like you have to be right on the top of your game and remember right where you left off.
And I
You
think
can go
that's the
back.
beauty of being a stay-at-home mom and full-time blogger is I make my own hours. I can kind of do what I want and that's what I want. So I feel blessed.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Food Bloggers Table. I'm your host, Jennifer Holt, and I look forward to serving you in the next episode.